If you are here right now, it is not by accident. It is a divine alignment, a moment designed specifically for you. There are no coincidences in the grand design of the universe. Every event, every trial, and every moment of uncertainty is part of a greater plan. And right now, you are standing at the threshold of something extraordinary. But before the breakthrough, before the transformation, there is a process, a sacred, often painful process, that every chosen one must endure. God does not prepare ordinary people for ordinary paths. He refines those he has called, those destined for something greater. And that refining does not come through comfort. It comes through fire, through pain, through isolation, through loss. But here is the truth that many fail to grasp. The suffering you endure is not a punishment. It is a preparation. It is God shaping you into the vessel capable of holding the magnitude of the blessings He is about to release. Perhaps you feel as though everything is falling apart. The relationships you once relied on have crumbled, doors that seem to be opening have slammed shut, and the dreams you once held seem further away than ever. This is not the end. This is the breaking before the breakthrough. Just as the darkest part of the night comes before the sunrise, your greatest hardships precede your greatest transformation. If this message resonates with you, if you feel deep within your soul that you are in a season of divine preparation, let it be known. Leave 77 in the comments as a declaration of your faith, because your breakthrough is coming, but first you must understand the process. The season of brokenness, the necessary transformation. Brokenness is not the end of the road. It is the beginning of something greater. It is the space between who you were and who you are meant to become. But this space is not easy to walk through. It is filled with uncertainty, discomfort, and at times, overwhelming pain. Think of a seed planted deep in the soil. In the darkness, beneath the surface where no one can see, that seed begins to break apart. The outer shell, which once served as its protection, must crack open so that life can emerge. If the seed remains intact, it will never grow. It will never become what it was created to be. God allows us to go through seasons of brokenness because He knows that our old selves cannot carry the weight of the blessings He has in store. The mindsets, habits, and even relationships that once felt secure must sometimes be stripped away for us to walk in our divine calling. In these moments, it is easy to feel abandoned, as though God has turned His face away. But He has not left you. He is working in the unseen, refining you, strengthening you, preparing you for the magnitude of what is coming. The pain you are feeling now is not pointless. It is a sacred tool in the hands of the Creator, molding you into the person you were always meant to be. When you feel lost, when you question why things are happening the way they are, remember this: God does not destroy what He intends to use. Your brokenness is not the end. It is the beginning of your transformation. The enemy's deception overcoming doubt and fear. In the midst of brokenness, when the weight of the world is pressing down on you, a whisper emerges, a voice filled with doubt, fear, and discouragement. You are not enough. You are forgotten. You will never rise from this. This is the voice of deception. This is the tactic of the enemy. The enemy does not attack what is worthless. He does not waste time on those who have no purpose. If you are facing opposition, if the voices of doubt are growing louder, it is because you are standing at the edge of something powerful. The enemy seeks to break you before you realize your strength, to blind you before you recognize your divine purpose. But here is the truth. The presence of trials is not a sign of God's absence. It is proof of His active work in your life. The storm you are facing is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to expose the lies that have held you captive. When a storm comes, it shakes the foundation of everything around it. And what is weak, what is not meant to last, will fall away. But what is rooted in truth will remain. This is why you must stand firm. You must hold onto God's promises, even when the world tries to convince you otherwise. Fear is a liar. Doubt is a thief. But faith is your weapon. Faith silences the whispers of the enemy. Faith reminds you that you are chosen, that your trials are temporary, and that your story is still being written. The moment you reject the lies of the enemy and embrace the truth of who you are, the chains begin to break. The moment you refuse to bow to fear, you step into a power that cannot be shaken. And that power, the power within you, is exactly what the enemy fears the most. The pruning process, letting go to make room for more. There are times in life when things seem to be slipping away, friendships fade, opportunities vanish, and even your sense of identity may feel uncertain. In these moments, it is easy to question everything, to wonder why God is taking away what once felt so secure. But what if He is not taking things away? What if He is making room for something greater? A tree that is never pruned may continue to grow, but it will not thrive. Its branches become tangled, its energy wasted on limbs that no longer bear fruit. The master gardener knows that in order for the tree to reach its full potential, some branches must be cut away. Not because the gardener is cruel, but because He sees what the tree cannot. In the same way, God removes what no longer serves us, not as punishment, but as preparation. Sometimes He removes people from our lives because they cannot go where we are going. Sometimes He shuts doors because what is behind them is not aligned with our destiny. Sometimes He forces us to let go of the familiar because it is keeping us from stepping into the extraordinary. But pruning is painful. It is uncomfortable to release what once felt necessary. The human heart clings to familiarity, even when it no longer serves us. And yet, if we trust the process, if we allow God to cut away what no longer aligns with His purpose for us, we will bear more fruit than we ever imagined. Do not fight what God is removing. Do not hold onto what He is asking you to release. Trust that if He is pruning you, it is because He is preparing you for something far greater than what you could ever build on your own. The very things that feel like loss today may be the stepping stones to your breakthrough tomorrow. Enduring the fire, the strength in suffering. Suffering is the great equalizer of life. No one escapes it. But for the chosen ones, suffering is not just an unfortunate event. It is an initiation, a sacred passage, a fire that purifies rather than destroys. When gold is refined, it is placed in the hardest part of the flame, where the impurities rise to the surface and are burned away. It is only through this intense heat that gold reaches its purest form. In the same way, God allows His chosen to endure suffering, not as punishment, but as purification. Pain is a revealer. It strips away false identities, weak foundations, and illusions of control. When we are comfortable, we do not seek change. When we are satisfied, we do not reach for more. But suffering forces us to ask the deeper questions. Who am I when everything is taken away? What do I truly believe when the world stops making sense? Where do I place my trust when nothing goes as planned? The fire exposes the truth, and the truth is what sets us free. Jesus did not run from suffering. He embraced it with full awareness that His pain had a purpose. He endured betrayal, rejection, and the weight of the world's sins, not because He had to, but because He knew what was on the other side. He showed us that endurance is not about avoiding pain, but about walking through it with faith, knowing that suffering is never wasted in God's hands. If you are walking through fire right now, do not fear. Fire refines. Fire strengthens. Fire does not consume those who are chosen. It reveals the warrior within. The pain you feel today is shaping you for the battles you will win tomorrow. The struggles that seem endless now are building endurance for the doors God is about to open. The fire is not here to destroy you. It is here to prepare you. Trust the process, because on the other side of this suffering, something powerful is waiting for you. Finding strength in the valley, the power of perspective. It is easy to have faith on the mountaintop. When life is good, when prayers are answered, when everything is falling into place, believing in divine guidance feels effortless. But what happens when you find yourself in the valley, when everything seems uncertain, when prayers go unanswered, when the road ahead is covered in darkness? This is where real faith is tested. This is where strength is revealed. A valley is not a place of punishment. It is a place of preparation. It is in the valley that roots grow deep, that lessons are learned, that character is refined. Consider the seed planted in the ground. To the outside world, it looks like nothing is happening. The surface remains unchanged. But beneath the soil in the unseen, the roots are growing, stretching, anchoring themselves so that when the time comes for the seed to break through, It will not be easily shaken. Your valley is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign that God is doing something beneath the surface, something that cannot yet be seen. The enemy wants you to believe that being in the valley means you are forgotten. But the valley is where God whispers the deepest truths. The valley is where He teaches you how to stand when the storm comes. The valley is where He prepares you for the elevation that is to come. Joseph was thrown into a pit before he was placed in a palace. David was in the wilderness before he was crowned king. Jesus went through the wilderness before his ministry began. If you are in the valley, take heart, you are in good company. Your valley is not your destination. It is your training ground. And when the time is right, God will call you out of the valley, stronger, wiser, and ready for the purpose He has set before you. The divine set up how God uses trials for elevation. There are moments in life when it feels like everything is against you, doors shut without warning, people you trusted walk away, opportunities vanish. It is in these moments that doubt creeps in, whispering, maybe you were never meant for more. But what if, instead of being held back, you were being positioned? What if the very trials you see as setbacks are actually divine setups for something greater? Joseph was betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and imprisoned for a crime he did not commit. From the outside, his life looked like a series of failures. But in reality, every hardship, every rejection, every painful moment was positioning him for his destiny. Because one day, Pharaoh had a dream that no one could interpret, no one except Joseph. And in a single moment, everything changed. He went from the prison to the palace, from forgotten to favored, from suffering to elevation. God does not waste pain. He uses every trial, every closed door, every betrayal to shape you, to prepare you, to place you exactly where you need to be. What seems like rejection is often redirection. What looks like loss is actually making space for something greater. You are not being held back, you are being aligned with your divine purpose. The next time you feel like everything is falling apart, ask yourself, what if it is actually falling into place? What if God is removing distractions, refining your vision, and preparing you for an opportunity that will change everything? Trust that He sees what you cannot. Trust that He is working behind the scenes. Trust that your trials are not random, they are divine preparation. And when the time is right, the setup will be revealed, and you will step into everything you were meant to become. The season of fruitfulness, the harvest after the storm. Every season of suffering, every moment of brokenness, every trial has a purpose. And after the refining, after the preparation, comes the harvest. But here is what most people do not understand. The harvest does not come to those who give up. It comes to those who endure. It comes to those who trust the process. It comes to those who refuse to quit even when the storm rages the hardest. Think of a farmer planting seeds in the ground. For months, he sees nothing. The fields look barren, empty, but the farmer does not dig up the soil in frustration. He does not abandon the field just because he cannot see immediate results. He trusts that in due time, what he has planted will grow. And when the season of harvest arrives, the reward is greater than he imagined. God works in the same way. He has planted promises, opportunities, and blessings in your life. And just because you do not see them yet does not mean they are not growing. The waiting, the suffering, the refining, all of it has been preparing you for this moment. And when the time comes, when the harvest is ready, doors will open that no man can shut. Blessings will pour into your life in ways you never expected. Everything you lost, everything you sacrificed, will be restored in ways beyond your imagination. Do not give up before the harvest. Do not let the pain of the process make you walk away from the promise. God is faithful. What He has spoken over your life will come to pass. The trials were temporary, the struggle was necessary, and now the season of fruitfulness is here. Walk into it with confidence, knowing that everything you have endured was leading you to this moment. The storm has passed. The breakthrough has arrived, and the best is yet to come. Living out the transformation, walking in divine purpose. The refining, the breaking, the trials, none of it was random. Every tear you shed, every battle you fought, every loss you endured was shaping you into the person you were always meant to be. But transformation is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of something greater. Now you must step into your divine purpose, fully embracing the new version of yourself that has emerged from the fire. Too often, people go through the struggle, endure the pruning, and survive the valley, only to hesitate when it is time to rise. They become so used to hardship that they struggle to accept joy, so accustomed to waiting that they do not recognize when their season of waiting is over. Do not let fear of the unknown keep you from stepping forward. You have been prepared for this moment. You are no longer who you were. The things that once held you back no longer have power over you. The doors that were closed will now swing open, and the chains that once bound you have been broken. But walking in divine purpose requires courage. It means trusting the voice of God even when you do not have all the answers. It means following the path even when you do not see the whole road. It means refusing to shrink back into old habits, old fears, and old mindsets. Everything you have gone through has strengthened you, given you wisdom, and deepened your faith. Do not waste this transformation by returning to the past. Your purpose is bigger than you. Everything you have overcome has equipped you to help others. The wisdom you have gained was never meant for you alone. It was meant to be shared. There are people waiting for your testimony. There are lives that will be changed because you chose to rise, because you refused to give up. Your pain was not wasted. Your struggles were not in vain. They have made you a vessel of light, a guide for those still lost in the dark. God has set you apart for something extraordinary. The time for hesitation is over. It is time to walk boldly in your divine calling, to live without fear, to step fully into the life you were destined for. You have been chosen for a reason. Now, walk as the chosen one you were always meant to be. Conclusion: trust the process. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. The journey of transformation is not easy, but it is necessary. Every struggle, every trial, every moment of doubt was a step leading you closer to your divine destiny. Even when it felt like everything was falling apart, God was building something greater than you could have imagined. Even when you felt lost, He was guiding you. Even when you thought He was silent, He was speaking through the process. Your breakthrough is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. And the moment you truly surrender, the moment you trust that everything is working for your good, that is the moment things begin to shift. Do not be discouraged by how long it has taken. Do not compare your journey to anyone else's. Divine timing is perfect, and when your breakthrough comes, it will be undeniable. The pain you endured did not break you, it built you. The struggles you faced were not detours, they were training grounds. The waiting was not wasted time. It was preparation for something greater than you ever expected. God is not just preparing blessings for you, He has been preparing you for the blessings. And now, you stand at the edge of everything you have prayed for. Hold on to faith. Keep moving forward. The best chapters of your story have not yet been written. And when the doors open, when the breakthrough comes, when everything finally makes sense, you will look back and understand that every moment of struggle was worth it. Your time is coming. Your purpose is calling. Trust the process and step boldly into the future God has prepared for you. If this message resonated with you, leave 77 in the comments as a declaration of your faith. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe for more messages of strength, purpose, and transformation. Your journey is not over. The best is yet to come.